but in 1883 Boulanger classified it in the genus Rhacodactylus. For more than a century, the species was no longer spotted, and Bauer and Sadlier labeled it as probably extinct. Corylopus ciliatus was only known from 16 specimens which were found on Grande Terre at the end of the 19th century. The locality reported at the time was incorrectly indicated as Nouméa. Some expeditions in the early 1990s were unsuccessful, since they were all conducted in the Nouméa area. It was Aaron Bauer that suggested that this locality was probably erroneous, but several searches for the species in the wider Nouméa area failed. Rumors of a sighting of the crested gecko on the Isle of Pines after a severe storm on the Isle of Pines triggered the German herpetologist Willy Henkel and his team to search the island in 1994. Several specimens were found, and after almost a century, it was established that the gecko was not extinct. A number of geckos were shipped to Europe for further examination. During an expedition to the Isle of Pines a few months later, Philippe de Vaujoly and his team could confirm Corylopus ciliatus. In 1998, the crested gecko was also found in the southern part of Grande Terre. In 2012, Bauer classified this species again under the genus Corylopus. Because of its distinct build, Corylopus ciliatus is very different from the other Diplodactylinae that occur in New Caledonia. This species is easy to recognize because of the clearly visible crests on both sides of the head that continue in a double dorsal crest across the neck to between the shoulders. These crests consist of small spines that continue above the eyes and are highly reminiscent of eyelashes. This is why it was given the name of eyelash gecko or crested gecko. There is clear sexual dimorphism. The males develop hemipenal thickening and preanal pores. Many crested geckos on the Isle of Pines have a yellowish coloration without a dorsal pattern. This uniform coloring is not site-specific and occurs all over the island. Most of these animals have a maroon-red spot on their flanks. Crested geckos are built to live in the undergrowth. Their bodies, extended toe pads and prehensile tail are proof that these animals are well adapted to this niche in the forest. This undergrowth is less frequented by the heavier and more dominant Rhacodactylus lechianus and Miniarogecko chaua, which claim the higher and more robust branches and tree trunks. In the wild, however, all adult specimens of Corylopus ciliatus are missing their prehensile tails. Geckos drop their tails as a defense mechanism. When molting, the skin is first released from the chest and is removed with both forelegs and hind legs. In healthy animals, the shed skin is eaten immediately. This is a frequent phenomenon in reptiles. It's a healthy habit, since the shed skin contains necessary substances that are to the animal's benefit. In nature, the entire process takes around 50 minutes. Especially in young animals, shedding the skin is a rather delicate process. Trouble in molting, also called disecdysis, may indicate health problems such as dehydration. As the animals grow older, the frequency of molting gradually decreases. However, the gecko will continue to shed its skin throughout its life, since these nocturnal geckos may live to the age of 15 or even 20 years.
area. Thomas spent 3 weeks on New Caledonia collecting data that is specific to crested geckos. That's temperature, humidity, rainfall, wind. He also collected videos and pictures of the habitat, what it looks like, the types of branches and trees and vines that we see, the feel of the air, where he was finding the crested geckos in the wild.